Crumlin Road Gaol, the prison where the dead still walk a true
Within these
history.
walls,
On the
past
northern edge of Belfast
never
stands
truly
one of the most
dies.
feared buildings in all of Ireland, Crumlin Road Gaol. Massive stone walls rise toward the grey sky, rusted iron gates groan with every gust of wind, and long, silent corridors seem frozen in time. Built to imprison the most dangerous criminals of the Victorian era, this prison witnessed more than 150 years of executions, violence, despair, riots, and unimaginable human suffering.
Within these walls,
Today, it has become one of
past
Northern Ireland's
never
most
truly
famous haunted
dies.
locations. Countless visitors, former prison officers, paranormal investigators, and tour guides have reported unexplained encounters. The construction of Crumlin Road Gaol began in 1843 under the direction of renowned prison architect Sir Charles Lanyon. The prison officially opened in 1846, designed according to the strict Victorian philosophy of discipline through isolation. Inspired by London's Pentonville Prison, the building featured 4 enormous wings extending from a central observation hall, allowing guards to monitor hundreds of prisoners simultaneously. The prison contained hundreds of individual cells where inmates spent most of their days alone in silence. Thick stone walls prevented communication, while narrow windows allowed little sunlight inside. From the very beginning, Crumlin Road Gaol became a place of misery. Men, women, and even children were imprisoned within its walls during the 19th century. Some children were barely 10 years old, sentenced for crimes that today would seem unimaginable, including stealing food, bread, or clothing simply to survive. Poverty throughout Ireland forced many desperate people into crime, and the prison quickly became overcrowded. Prisoners endured freezing winters, poor sanitation, disease. Public executions were once a grim reality here. In the prison's early years, condemned prisoners were hanged before crowds gathered outside the gates. Thousands of spectators often arrived to witness these executions, treating them almost like public spectacles. Eventually, authorities ended public hangings, moving executions inside the prison walls to reduce disorder. Yet the suffering continued. Between 1854 and 1961, 17 men were officially executed by hanging inside Crumlin Road Gaol. The condemned spent their final days in isolated cells, listening to the sounds of everyday prison life while knowing their own death approached with every passing hour. The condemned prisoners followed a haunting final journey. On execution day, guards escorted them from their death cells through a narrow corridor leading directly to the execution chamber. There stood the gallows, where the executioner carried out the sentence within seconds. After death, the bodies were not immediately released to grieving families. Instead, many were buried secretly within the prison grounds in unmarked graves. The exact locations of several burials remained unknown for decades, fueling rumors that some of the dead never truly left the prison. One of the prison's most infamous executioners was Thomas Pierrepoint, a member of Britain's legendary family of hangmen. His son, Albert Pierrepoint, who later became Britain's most famous executioner, also carried out executions at Crumlin Road Gaol. Their precise and emotionless work ensured that the prison became forever linked with death. During the 20th century, Crumlin Road Gaol became deeply connected with the political conflict known as the Troubles. Beginning in the late 1960s, Belfast descended into decades of violence involving Republican and Loyalist paramilitary organizations, British security forces, and civilians. The prison housed numerous political prisoners accused of terrorism and other conflict-related crimes. These years brought riots, hunger strikes. The prison also contained a hidden underground tunnel connecting it directly to the old Crumlin Road courthouse across the street. Prisoners awaiting trial were marched through this narrow tunnel beneath Belfast's busy roads, hidden from public view. Damp stone walls, echoing footsteps, and complete darkness made the passage deeply unsettling even during normal operations. Today, many visitors claim this tunnel is among the most frightening areas of the entire prison. Some report hearing footsteps behind them despite walking alone, while others describe whispers echoing through the darkness where no one else is present. In 1996, after serving Northern Ireland for 150 years, Crumlin Road Gaol officially closed. Most prisons gradually lose their atmosphere once abandoned, but many believe this prison never truly became empty. Instead, its silence seemed only to amplify the memories trapped within its walls. One of the most frequently reported experiences involves Cell 17. Numerous visitors claim they suddenly feel watched upon entering the cell. Some describe an unexplained drop in temperature, while others experience dizziness or overwhelming sadness. Several tour guides have stated that electronic equipment occasionally malfunctions inside this section without any obvious mechanical explanation. The execution chamber remains the prison's most infamous location. Visitors often describe an overwhelming pressure in the room, as though the air itself feels heavier. Paranormal investigators have reported unusual sounds captured during overnight investigations. The underground tunnel has generated countless unsettling stories over the years. Several visitors have claimed to hear footsteps matching their own pace before suddenly stopping when they stop walking. Others report hearing doors slam despite the tunnel being empty. Some have described seeing dark human shapes. Former prison officers have also shared chilling experiences. Some recall hearing heavy cell doors slam late at night despite every door being securely locked. Others reported hearing prisoners calling for guards long after the prison had closed for the evening. A few officers allegedly refused to patrol certain wings alone after repeated experiences involving unexplained voices or the sensation of someone walking directly behind them. While these accounts remain personal testimonies rather than verified evidence, they have become part of the prison's enduring legend. Paranormal investigation teams from various television programs have explored Crumlin Road Gaol using infrared cameras, electromagnetic field detectors, digital voice recorders, and thermal imaging equipment. During some investigations, researchers reported unexplained temperature fluctuations, mysterious electronic voice phenomena, and sudden equipment failures. However, none of these findings have provided definitive proof of ghosts. Scientists generally attribute such occurrences to environmental conditions, building acoustics, psychological suggestion, or natural electromagnetic variations within historic structures. Nevertheless, these investigations have only increased the prison's reputation among ghost hunters worldwide. Many visitors have reported seeing shadow-like figures moving across upper walkways before disappearing behind iron railings. Others claim they briefly saw a prison guard standing silently in Victorian uniform, only for the figure to vanish moments later. Some tourists have captured photographs containing strange light anomalies or unexplained silhouettes. Photography experts often explain these images as reflections, dust particles, lens artifacts, or lighting conditions inside the historic building. Yet for those who experienced the events firsthand, these explanations often fail to eat. Perhaps the prison's greatest source of fear lies not in any single ghost story, but in the enormous amount of genuine suffering that occurred within its walls. More than 25,000 prisoners passed through Crumlin Road Gaol over its lifetime. Every corridor witnessed heartbreak. Every cell held fear. Every locked door separated families, destroyed lives, or marked the final hours before execution. Whether one believes in spirits or not, standing inside such a place naturally evokes powerful emotions. Today, Crumlin Road Gaol welcomes thousands of visitors each year who come to learn about Northern Ireland's complex past. Many arrive seeking historical knowledge, while others hope to experience the supernatural. Some leave fascinated by the prison's architecture and documented history. Others depart convinced they encountered something beyond ordinary explanation. The prison carefully presents both its verified historical record and the many ghost stories that have developed around it, allowing visitors to decide for themselves what they believe. The mystery of Crumlin Road Gaol remains unsolved. Historians can document the executions, riots, political conflicts, and centuries of imprisonment that occurred within these walls. Those facts are beyond dispute. The reports of ghostly figures, whispered voices, phantom footsteps, and chilling encounters, however,
within these walls,
experiences rather than
the past
facts.
never truly
Yet perhaps
dies.
that uncertainty is what keeps this prison so captivating. In a place where so many lives ended in sorrow, the silence itself seems to tell stories that history books cannot fully explain.